Linda Watkins-Bennett, Channel 12 News.
Americans in foreign hands. A first look at the U.S. spy plane crew held by China. There's new hope tonight they could soon be free. The tearful wife of the missing Chinese pilot lashes out at the United States as China launches a propaganda campaign. The Senate takes a knife to the Bush tax cut plan. And as hurricane season approaches, why one respected forecaster is worried.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
And good evening. Dan is off tonight. I'm John Roberts. It was hard to find a discouraging word in Washington today about efforts to win the release of 24 Americans held by China. The line was different in Beijing, where a Chinese fighter pilot who witnessed Sunday's mid-air collision blamed the Americans. But tonight, diplomacy is moving forward. Here's the latest. U.S. representatives met for a second time with the detained crew members of the U.S. spy plane and pronounced them in great spirits. President Bush said progress is being made in negotiations for their release. And China's president said it is in both countries' interest to, quote, manage this matter. More on all of this now, beginning with David Martin at the Pentagon.
This picture of the crew was taken at their first meeting with American diplomats. There has now been a second session and a promise of regular meetings from now until they are released, which may not be much longer, judging by what Secretary of State Powell said.
There has been movement in the discussions and negotiations, and we are encouraged at this point.
U.S. officials say they are waiting for China's president, who is traveling in South America, to sign off on an agreement under which the U.S. would say it is sorry for the loss of the Chinese pilot. The crew would be released and the incident turned over to a joint U.S. China commission where the two sides could argue about who caused the accident. After the first meeting, the plane itself would be released. Army General Neil Seelock met with the crew for about an hour today without any Chinese officials present.
The crew is in great spirit. They are all together, and they are looking forward to getting released from their current situation.
Afterwards, President Bush talked by phone with Seelock and got a first-hand account of the meeting.
They are housed in officers' quarters, and they are being treated well.
This man, the pilot of the second Chinese jet involved in the incident, may have saved their lives. U.S. officials say after the collision, he led the badly damaged Navy plane to the Chinese base and made a pass over the runway to show it the proper direction in which to land. The surviving pilot and the family of the missing pilot had harsh words for the U.S. today, raising concerns the Chinese may make an 11th-hour demand that the U.S. pay damages for the loss of the plane and pilot. But for now, President Bush seems upbeat.
We're working hard to bring them home through intensive discussions with the Chinese government, and we think we're making progress.
The Chinese ambassador returned to the State Department this evening, but he only stayed for about 15 minutes. Afterwards, a spokesman said there would be more talks tomorrow, both in Washington and in Beijing. John?
David Martin at the Pentagon, thanks. In contrast to the encouraging words coming out of Washington today, the government-run news media in Beijing were ratcheting up the anti-American rhetoric. CBS News correspondent Barry Peterson is in the Chinese capital. Barry?
Well, John, the news that diplomats are talking is not being reported here. Instead, as if to prepare people for a long siege, China's tightly controlled state-run TV has launched a propaganda onslaught against the United States, the likes of which we have not seen here all week. All week, we've seen missing pilot Wang Wei, but now comes this.
We deeply love each other.
From a wife hospitalized with exhaustion, an emotional barrage reflecting China's official line.
My husband's plane was crashed by the United States plane.
And while she was all tears, the pilot, Zhao Yu, who was flying alongside Wang Wei, was all anger.
I'm furious at the atrocity committed by the U.S. right on our doorstep.
He heatedly repeated China's contention that the U.S. plane purposely veered left.
I saw the nose of the U.S. spy plane hit Wang Wei's plane. The left outer propeller shattered his tail. The pieces flew through the air like small pieces of paper.
Then there was Wang Wei's father. Now he's the son of our country, he said. I miss him. And to make sure the Chinese understand that China speaks with one voice over this incident, Condemnation of the U.S. from people in provinces across the nation. But it could be worse. So far, the anti-Americanism is confined to the media. Not like the attack on the U.S. Embassy in Beijing 2 years ago, after the U.S. bombed the Chinese embassy in Belgrade. Then the government encouraged rock-throwing protests. There have been some moves on college campuses to march on the U.S. Embassy, but so far, the government has stopped them dead in their tracks. However, if diplomacy fails, it's entirely possible the next stage of this crisis could be played out on China's streets. John?
Barry Peterson in Beijing, thanks. So what is the American public thinking about all of this? In a CBS News poll out tonight, about half say the United States should not apologize to China. About half also say they approve of the way President Bush is handling U.S. relations with the country. And just over half, 53%, approve of the way President Bush is doing his job overall. Concerning the centerpiece of the Bush domestic agenda, the Senate voted today on the president's tax cut plan and gave him 3/4 of what he proposed. So, is this a stinging setback for the Bush plan? Chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer is at Spin Central on Capitol Hill. Bob?
Well, John, all sides claim that they won today. The president saw it as the first step in his plan that he promised in the campaign to cut taxes.
I applaud today's action and congratulate the Republicans and Democrats who helped make it happen.
As the president was saying thanks, the Senate's top Democrat was saying, excuse me?
That if this is a victory for them, we want more victories just like it.
Daschle claimed victory because the president wanted a $1.6 trillion tax cut over 10 years. The Senate slashed that to $1.2 trillion, with $400 billion promised for education programs and debt reduction. Of course, the tax cut was still a lot bigger than the $900 billion cut that Democrats wanted, which may be why the vice president was smiling too.
We think it constitutes major progress.
Republican leader Lott was so happy he high-fived Democrat John Breaux, leader of a bipartisan group of moderates who brokered the compromise between the president's plan and the Democratic proposals. Also claiming victory, Breaux said the action was a lesson to both sides.
Negotiation is the way to reach an agreement in a 50-50 divided Congress. That you cannot be successful merely by trying to pick one Democrat to join a group of Republicans or one Republican to join a group of Democrats.
So the politicians have learned they have to cooperate to get anything done. What taxpayers need to remember is that all this was about politics. The plan that the Senate approved today was just a blueprint. It can be changed at any time. For example, this plan calls for $84 billion in tax relief this year. But where that money comes from, who gets it, and how much they get, those little details still have to be worked out. John.
Bob Schieffer on Capitol Hill, thanks. On the CBS Market Watch tonight, unemployment is up 1/10 of a point to 4.3%. That's the highest in nearly 2 years. African-American unemployment is twice as high, soaring more than a full point last month. Overall, the economy had a net loss in March of 86,000 jobs. That's the biggest loss in a decade, reviving fears of a recession on Wall Street. The Dow closed down 126 points. The Nasdaq lost 64. The latest energy crunch today in the West isn't a power failure. It's a financial failure of the power company. CBS News correspondent John Blackstone reports on the California utility that says it's running on empty and what this may mean down the line.
It's California's latest electric shock. The bankruptcy filing by Pacific Gas and Electric, the state's largest utility, is likely to mean even higher electricity bills.
This is a huge, huge challenge to the state. It is a crisis. It's a disaster.
The timing seemed designed to cause maximum embarrassment to California's governor, Gray Davis.
I was very disappointed in that. I want to stress this one fact. PG&E put itself into bankruptcy.
Just last night, Davis told Californians electric rates were going up again, but he promised the crisis was coming under control.
My friends, we do have a power shortage, but we are far from powerless.
But PG&E's chairman says the governor didn't give the company enough, that the utility can get a better deal from a bankruptcy judge.
And frankly, we've heard a lot of words from the Sacramento sources that simply have not come to fruition.
The good news is that the lights are on, and they will stay on in bankruptcy court.
The bad news for Californians is that the bankruptcy court won't be looking out for the interests of consumers. Its focus will be on how to pay PG&E's $8 billion in debt. That's almost certain to mean soaring electric bills.
It'll be up to the people of California to decide whether they want to pay the full price or go without electricity.
Now, on top of the billions PG&E owes to electricity generators, the company faces hundreds of millions in new bills from bankruptcy attorneys. John Blackstone, CBS News, San Francisco.
On the CBS Price Watch, the U.S. Energy Department warned today there could be a big jump in gasoline prices this summer because supplies are tight. The Midwest is especially vulnerable. In its latest survey, the Energy Department finds gasoline nationwide averaging $1.44 a gallon. Reformulated gas in the Midwest is going for $1.53. Up next on the CBS Evening News, what a leading forecaster is saying about the upcoming hurricane season. And later, on the Health Watch, the medical miracle that saved two brothers' lives.
Today I made an omelet.
I picked an apple.
I sent the fax.
This is about chemotherapy and living your life. This is about Procrit. If you're a chemotherapy patient and you feel tired and weak, ask your doctor about Procrit.
I played a game.
Procrit is a natural way to regain red blood cells lost during chemotherapy. And more red blood cells can mean more strength.
I caught a fish.
Procrit is safe and effective. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Procrit is for patients with non-myeloid cancers.
I went to the store.
Call now and learn how Procrit can help you get back the strength you need. Your strength for living.
When I had started, we could walk into the back of production and say, who's got Bill Johnson's computer? And someone in manufacturing would say, I do, Mo. And they you know, that's got to go today. You know, I promised my firstborn that would be on a truck tonight, and they'd say it's done. And people that work at Gateway are extremely passionate about working with people and helping people.
I was on top of the world, and just like that, I had a stroke. Now I take Bear aspirin every day to help prevent another stroke. And when my body is sore, there's extra strength Bear. It's that strong.
Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen.
It's great to be back.
This has more calcium than Tums?
It's true. Maalox Quick Dissolve Chewables have more calcium than regular Tums.
That's even better.
And they dissolve faster than Tums.
I'm going to go for the Maalox.
Quick dissolve your heartburn away and get more calcium.
No doubt about it.
Whoa! Lawn weeds, huh, Pete?
Yeah.
Try Ortho Weed Be Gone. Kills weeds, won't harm your lawn. Guaranteed.
Didn't hurt my lawn.
Lawn weeds? Leave it to Ortho.
I may look young, but I still suffer from hot flashes. I discovered a natural way to deal with it. Healthy Woman, from the makers of Monistat. Healthy Woman's a soy menopause supplement that helps relieve hot flashes and night sweats. Healthy Woman.
On the CBS Weather Watch, powerful spring storms blasting their way through the Plain States. South Central states got whacked today by high winds, industrial-sized hail, and heavy rain, with at least one reported tornado in Kansas. As for what's in the wind for summer, one of the country's top hurricane forecasters is out today with his predictions, plus a warning. Bobby Harley has the outlook for hurricane season 2001.
With 8 weeks to go before the Atlantic hurricane season even begins, a well-known forecaster hundreds of miles from any coast is calling it only an average year for storms.
We think this season will not be as active.
The National Hurricane Center says that's the worst message for the public to hear.
What worries me a lot is years like this, when a lot of people are saying near normal activity. I think people will tend to let the guard down.
Even so, today William Gray predicted a season that will include 10 named storms, 6 of which will become hurricanes, 2 of them major. But he admits it's risky business.
Nobody can predict when and where a storm will occur in any one year.
For people at ground zero, June 1st to November 30th, hurricane season is a time to expect the unexpected.
We're seldom caught by surprise by a large hurricane. We see them come and we're able to track them. It's those small ones that pop up over the weekend.
Like the so-called no-name storm last October. It unexpectedly dumped up to 20 inches of rain on South Florida. And that's Max Mayfield's point.
It just takes that one hurricane over your community to make for a bad year.
Like Galveston, Texas in 1900, the Florida Keys in 1935, and the costliest U.S. hurricane ever, 1992's Andrew in Homestead, Florida, all of which hit in seasons that were less active than normal. Forecasters are the first to say theirs is an inexact science. Take 1997. El Nino unexpectedly suppressed hurricane activity, and that threw William Gray's predictions to the wind. Bobby Harley, CBS News, Miami.
A 26-year-old drifter is in a federal lockup in Philadelphia tonight, charged with damaging U.S. property after allegedly taking a hammer to the Liberty Bell. Witnesses say the man was with a group of tourists in the pavilion housing the bell. They say he produced a small hammer and struck the bronze bell at least 4 times before the National Park Police arrested him. The attack left marks on the nearly 250-year-old bell, but nothing to rival the famous crack that dates from the last time it was rung back in 1846. Still ahead, blood brothers, a life-saving medical breakthrough for their killer disease.
That's what it says.
When you buy tires, you're not just buying rubber and steel. You want the confidence that your tires will get you to your destination safely. I'm John Lampe, new CEO of Firestone, and I'd like to introduce Making It Right, our action plan for the future. It's dedicated to gaining your trust and includes important upgrades in manufacturing and quality control. Firestone wants to make it right because your safety is our primary concern.
To me, gardening is, it's life. It's just a miracle in nature. Early in the spring I start, I feed them all through the summer and early fall with Miracle-Gro. It's quite simple, it only takes a few minutes every other week. You get good vibrant color, good strong stems, and it makes a big difference. Well, plants are like people. Just like we need to eat 3 times a day, plants need their food too. I feed the whole garden every other week with Miracle-Gro. It makes a tremendous difference.
Gotta go right now. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Gotta go right now. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
I have to go now.
If an overactive bladder makes you go and go and go, go to your doctor and ask about new Detrol LA.
Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
Just one daily dose works for 24 hours to help control bladder contractions that cause those sudden urges and reduces accidents and bathroom visits.
Right now? Hey, I don't have to go.
New prescription Detrol LA. Individual results may vary. You shouldn't take it if you have certain kinds of stomach, urinary, or glaucoma problems. The most common side effects are dry mouth, constipation, abdominal pain, and headache.
And I don't have to go right now.
Ask your doctor about new Detrol LA for overactive bladder when you've always got to go.
When you or someone you love is hospitalized, safety matters most. That's why doctors and hospitals choose Tylenol more than any other pain reliever. Tylenol. Take comfort in our strength.
Take that laxative and you miss the bus. Huh? It contains harsh stimulants that could cause cramps. Phillips is different. It's stimulant-free, so you don't have to feel worse before you feel better.
Great.
Phillips, the comfortable way. It's out there in the clear blue sky. You can't see it when suddenly you're in it.
There's nothing on radar. There's nothing visually. The next thing you know, the airplane's all over the place.
Monday, Eye on America explores the unseen menace to flying, air turbulence. News about how we might avoid it only on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
On the CBS Health Watch tonight, a Texas-sized blood shortage in Texas. Doctors in 21 counties began putting off non-essential surgeries today and cranked up an urgent drive for blood donors. It's so bad, a Houston hospital postponed a scheduled operation on one patient to finish another patient's liver transplant. A second hospital was forced to delay a major heart operation. A particular kind of blood is involved in remarkable medical successes tonight. It's blood taken from umbilical cords, transplanted into two brothers with a deadly genetic disorder. The results are in tonight and show all the markings of a cure. Vince Gonzalez has the living proof.
Garrett LaRue and his little brother Blake are two regular California kids, but their short lives weren't always so carefree.
Looking back, there were some really hard times and hard decisions that we had to make.
For their mom, Teresa, the hard times began when her 13-month-old son Lane suddenly died. That's when the family learned he and two of his brothers had a fatal genetic disorder, which left them unable to fight even common infections.
I just pray for healing, and I pray for strength.
The CBS News broadcast, 48 Hours, was with the LaRues 4 years ago, when the family tried an experimental and risky procedure, a cord blood transplant. Blood is harvested from the umbilical cord of a newborn, then matched to a recipient, in this case to build a new immune system. Blake went through it first. An infection nearly killed him. Then it was Garrett's turn. Only time would tell if the transplants would work.
So we're quite sure that they have an adequate immune system now.
And they're cured.
And they're cured.
With cord blood transplants giving hope to patients fighting sickle cell anemia, immune system disorders, and leukemia and other cancers, parents are now being encouraged to donate unused cord blood or bank it in case their children need it in the future.
You can look at this as the ultimate in recycling. Here's something that is just thrown away. We can recycle it and make it into new life for another child or even an adult.
We probably won't ever get a chance to thank the parents who I don't know that they realize what a gift that they gave us.
It's a gift doctors hope will soon be given to even more families facing once deadly diseases. Vince Gonzalez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, everybody has a story. Tonight, how the kid least likely to succeed did.
Hi, I'm Bob. And I'm Charlie. We're neighbors. And our wives figured if we couldn't grow hair in our heads, we'd work on our lawns, and look what happened.
This lawn is a work of art. I use Scott Premium Grass Seed.
You put anything else on there, Bob, and you'd just be wasting your time.
See how thick this is? There's no weeds in that grass right there. The inferior brands have weeds, but the seed that Scott has is the purest seed you can get. Healthy, lush, green.
It comes up quick.
You interrupted me. The lawn is only as good as the seed you start with. Bald is beautiful.
That's right.
Except in your yard.
For all those who have difficulty bathing, and for all those who care for them, take comfort.
Take comfort, take comfort. There's Comfort Bath, take comfort.
Comfort Bath. Thick as a washcloth, disposable Comfort Bath can be microwaved for a warm, soothing bath. Comfort Bath leaves skin soft and smooth.
There's Comfort Bath, take comfort.
Look for Comfort Bath at your drugstore.
Ready, guys? This could be the ride of your life. You gotta get past the myths and the excuses. Erectile difficulty is a common problem. Effective treatment is available. Talk to your doctor. You might be surprised how easily you can get through it.
I can't wait to hit those links.
Man, I can't wait to hit the trails.
Why am I doing this?
Seasonal allergies can make you feel miserable. Only Once Daily Allegra has fexofenadine for long-lasting, non-drowsy allergy relief, so you can feel more like yourself again for patients 12 and older. Side effects include headache, upper respiratory tract infection, and back pain. Call your doctor now for more information about Allegra and enjoy your world.
We got a big problem.
Big problem? What problem?
Problem? Did he say problem?
Yes, new Roundup.
No Roundup? What now?
One word. It's twice as strong now, faster than ever. It'll shrivel you all the way down to the roots.
All the way down to the roots? So we can't grow back?
Not ever?
Never, ever, ever, ever?
Never. Not even a tough old weed like me.
I feel faint.
New Roundup. Twice as strong, faster than ever. Roundup. No root, no weed, no problem.
Food allergies are nothing to mess around with. How do you protect your children, and what are the signs that something's wrong? Wake up to what's happening next week on The Early Show with Bryant Gumbel and Jane Clayson.
We close tonight with a story of hard work, dedication, achievement, and most of all, surprise that it all worked out. As always, in his quest to demonstrate that everybody has a story, Steve Hartman began with a random throw of a dart. He hit a spot on the map 30 miles south of Syracuse, New York.
Imagine what it must be like. You're sitting at home minding your own business. Big moment. Then some stranger in a laundromat makes a stab at your surname, Michaels. And 12 hours later,
Light 97 FM, good morning.
You're somehow newsworthy. Everyone watching to see what lessons can be learned from your life, other than just never let a news crew in your house before 8 a.m. 22-year-old Eric Michaels is a man of simple means and simple taste. He lives where he has always lived, at home.
Is that my $20?
No.
And according to his mother, Cheryl, his story can be summed up in the one sentence that every teacher always told him.
He could go a long way if he'd just apply himself.
If you would only apply yourself, you could get that much further.
I've heard that so many times.
All the time, every day.
And every word.
Went in this year and out this one. Sounds good to me.
In fact, before Eric became a t-shirt maker, he was one of Cortland High School's all-time lazy bones. Teachers here still remember his remarkable underachievements. Turned in the exact same book report 3 years in a row. Graduated by the slimmest possible margin. Eric says this was the first time his parents had occasion to be proud of his academics. It would also be the last. After high school, Eric tried community college, but slept through one too many classes and had to drop out. His parents were at wit's end, until just last year, when either some alien creature took over his body, or Eric simply decided to change on his own. From lifelong slacker to his new title.
Entrepreneur, yep, absolutely. Me, of all people.
Eric no longer works for the t-shirt company.
When I was in high school, I didn't think I would own anything, to be honest with you.
Eric now owns the t-shirt company and is the youngest business owner in Cortland.
Yep.
It's called Reflex Sportswear, and he and a partner took out an $18,000 loan to buy it.
There's money that pays all the bills. It's just paying us that's the hard part right now.
He's very driven now, and I'm happy, I'm thrilled. I'm just thinking, wow, is this going to continue, you know?
So what turned him around? Blue eyes and blonde curls, for one.
That's nice.
He's getting married in June and wants to be a good provider. But even more so, Eric says he wanted to make up for 20 years of disappointing mom.
She looked at me and she said, Eric, it doesn't matter to me whether you go to college or you print t-shirts the rest of your life. I'm proud of you no matter what. That's my mom.
That's great. Sooner?
Absolutely.
Or in this case, later. We all feel that compulsion to prove ourselves to our parents. And as Eric knows, once you feel it, there's no turning back.
I could definitely see myself running for mayor of Cortland.
Mayor?
Yeah, he thinks he'd be a good mayor.
Just as long as he doesn't have the same city council meeting 3 times in a row.
Yeah, well, yeah. Can't get away with that one.
But Lord knows the old Eric would have tried. Steve Hartman, CBS News, Cortland, New York.
And that's the CBS Evening News for this Friday. Secretary of State Colin Powell is Bob Schieffer's guest this Sunday on Face the Nation. Now, from 60 Minutes, here's Steve Kroft.
As if it weren't enough that a Russian spy infiltrated the FBI, how about the Bureau taking in and protecting a mass murderer? 60 Minutes, Sunday.
Dan Rather will be back here again on Monday. I'm John Roberts, CBS News in New York. Thanks for joining us tonight. Have a great weekend.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Fun and educational family vacations on the Saturday Early Show. Experience CBS News.